Over there!
We can't let him get away!
Too late, fool! You will not escape! Us? What in the name of... Gary?
I'm sorry, okay? I hadn't prepped this part of the dungeon yet. I haven't had the time.
But you don't suffer from this, do you? For more than 2 years, you've helped us to enhance our tools, grow our map libraries, and given us a warm welcome in the community of map makers and game masters. We are honored to be part of this community, and all we can say is thank you.
Bring it on.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Till and you're watching Welcome to the Mapness, our weekly map making stream where I usually draw maps regularly for the office games that I play with my co-workers, or I'm just prepping maps generally. Today we have another special episode because today I'm having a guest and we are reviewing another winner's map of the Masters of the Tool contest. And our guest tonight is no one else than Tony Trauner, who is the lead artist behind I would say 100% of our DungeonFog assets. He's drawing. He was there from day one with us, and he's drawing the DungeonFog assets. But that's not all that he's doing. And for more about him, let's bring him in and say hi to Tony. 1, 2. Chat. There you go. This is what I wanted to do. Okay. Very good.
Hello, and thanks for having me.
Hi Tony. Let me quickly check. Is audio working? I think everyone can hear. Everyone can see Tony. That is amazing. So hi. How are you?
Very good, thanks. And I made it to an English stream. Very good. I think we did one in German at Spiel.
True.
And,
right. We did a German one at Spiel where you were drawing something.
Mm-hmm. Very good. They say they can hear us. Very good. So yeah, I'm Tony Trauner. I'm the guy who draws the stuff you're building with, and I also was able to draw the intro you see before the stream starts. So the little DungeonFog trailer I did also with a friend of mine.
Yeah, you did.
And it was very fun and a very cool process. And I also, I know, besides DungeonFog, I am a storyboard artist and concept artist for Austrian TV and cinema, and commercials and everything. So I did a few operas and theater stuff. So I dabble in a lot of stuff and a lot of design and drawing stuff. All very fun.
But your let's say your core business is storyboard artwork, right? That's what you're doing. So you're
that's what I started with, and that's a great passion of mine. And I'm also a DM for I think like 15 years now, and so I was very thrilled to get on board with DungeonFog and work with Till and the team. And
I think
it's been a lot of fun since we started.
I think we've met in 2017 not on Spiel, on the Vienna Comic Con, didn't we? That was the first time
I met Thomas. I don't know if you were there with him. I know
Thomas
I knew
introduced
Thomas
me
around
to
a few corners.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked shortly, and then I visited your office. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then we sat down and we said, we need artworks. I showed you the initial, the first. I think none of that is in the library anymore. But the initial stuff for the Kickstarter campaign, I had to draw myself. So when you signed on, it was like, oh my God, finally an artist, someone who can really make stuff. And since then you have, do you know the number? How many assets you've been drawing for DungeonFog?
I mean, we talked about, on Spiel, we talked about shortly, it was around 5,000 at the time, I think.
Yes, you're over 5,000 assets now. and there are two pretty amazing new things coming. The one is the sci-fi pack that you're currently working on with Guy Sklenders. And the other one is the Masters of the Tools winner pack that we still don't spoil yet. But it's...
Yeah, I mean,
how
I
is
can
it?
promise it will be fun.
Yeah. You're already working on it, aren't you? So I think we're
Yes.
having this weekend, we're having a review with Corthel. So how is it going? How's the progress?
Yeah, I'm nearly finished. Just like I think 5 assets left to draw, and I mean, depends on how Corthel likes the assets, but
Well, I
I'm
think you will
quite.
love them.
I think he will be pleased with most. I hope he will be pleased with most of them.
Because I
More
see the
sci-fi,
question.
yeah.
Yes.
Somebody.
Yeah, Damien said, more sci-fi? What? Yes, so Guy reached out, so Guy Sklenders, for those of you who don't know from How to Be a Great GM, is a dear friend and partner to DungeonFog, and he just recently, I think in March, if I remember correctly, had a Kickstarter campaign about the Bounty Hunter TTRPG. That's he says it's a no math rule set where you don't need to do math to play the game. It was quite successful on Kickstarter. So he's now producing he's producing for Foundry VTT a map pack, and he wanted to have more sci-fi assets. And since we had a lot of sci-fi stuff last year, if I remember correctly, but then we haven't had any more sci-fi. So we said this is the perfect opportunity to enrich our existing sci-fi library with new stuff. And we have seen from the community a lot of requests where we said, oh, I think we can tackle them. So we sat down with Guy, and he created a list of 100 assets that we've reviewed and discussed. And you've started to work on them already, so they are going to be released by the end of this month.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, we're going to be really cool. He structures it in very different styles of sci-fi, which
True.
I think will all blend very nice. So you will have a lot of tools there to create new maps you weren't able before.
Yeah, true. Right, but you're a guest tonight for a specific purpose. I asked you you were part of the jury process of the Masters of the Tools contest, and you were helping us to review the maps. And so I asked you if you would be interested in joining one of our streams where we are looking at a specific map. And today we're looking at the Ocean God's Temple map by Calamity. And you were quite inspired, I think, because you've prepped some stuff for today, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I when I judge things and then get invited to look at something on the screen, I think about stuff, and when I think about stuff, I take my pencil and I draw stuff. So I did that for today.
Okay, so Calamity, I hope you're watching, because you're going to see some amazing stuff that Tony did while reviewing your map. And let's just jump into the map itself. Double check, triple check if I hit the right button. I think I do. There you go. So this is the map we're talking about. This is the Ocean God's Temple. And it is a kind of a layered map where 2 layers or 2 levels of the map are brought onto the same screen here. So we have we believe this is the upper area, the entrance area, and then we have the lower area. I'm currently not able to scroll. Oh, too many stuff open. There you go. And we have the lower level then, the sanctuary, basically. So this was I think this was highly discussed. It was a highly discussed map from all the submissions because it was really, I mean, it's the bronze winner, so it was definitely one of the best maps. But there were some things where we said, okay, this could have been optimized somehow, and we're going to look at that a little bit. We're going to discuss that. But I think what sparked your inspiration the most was the question of, how does this map really exist? Like, how is it structured? How is this place in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I always have a little specific kind of thinking when it goes to maps. I always think like, how does this thing actually look in 3D, or how do I describe it to my players, and what does this implicate for the structure, the map that I see? And so I thought about how would it look from the outside, and how would it look from certain points when I stand in it. And of course, we just have the map, not the story, which collateral. Who was the
Calamity.
Calamity? Thank you. So which with Calamity was thinking while creating it. So I took a little bit of creative freedom, of course, but
sure.
Yeah. So the idea.
By the way, Calamity, if you are watching tonight, drop us a little message in the chat so we know, and so we can directly ask you more or less while we review the map. But yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. Continue.
Yeah. So I thought it was a map where it was basically actually the same level, but there was just no direct door between the two rooms, just the stairs leading down to a tunnel, which we don't see, which leads forward to the forward chamber, or the pool, which is mirrored in the first room and in the second room. And I thought that would be a really cool way to enter an ocean god temple while having to dive through, to kind of like a purifying ritual before you enter the temple. But
well, yeah, I think structurally the way, well, again, it's open for interpretation. The way that I see is, I agree. Well, to be honest, my first take, I don't know why I can't really scroll tonight. That's weird. My first take was that you have to enter somehow through the fountains here. And then I realized that this doesn't make sense. But I felt like, wow, that would have been cool. So I think I agree. I think you're entering the whole complex through the stairs up here, and then because that's where the big introduction message is, which, by the way, is a nice little kind of poem. It says, a prayer to the currents and tide, hallowed prayers to calm the storms, prayer to the depths, where upon a day we may rest, to the shallows and ocean spray. Bring the god of ocean and sea our praise, praise to the waves ever to cleanse the shore. That is what is written here. So I think this makes sense that you enter from here and you then read this plaque with the information, and you're like, most likely this is going to be a hint that the players have to solve. And then you kind of have two directions, to the east and to the west, to then continue. And I believe it means that this leads down into the deeper depths of the ocean temple. Although I think it would be amazing if you could kind of purify yourself or cleanse yourself if you dive into that water and exit here.
I mean, it looks a little bit like it, because we have to the right and the left chamber, to the atrium. There are chests to put your things. There are cloth baskets so you can wash your clothes, and there are little wells where you can also purify yourself before actually entering. So I think that's the point why Janet loved it so much, because it had a few really cool story telling elements to it, or world building elements to it.
It was kind of
in these little details.
It had a logic structure to what you do here. And also, I mean, from a color palette, I think it is a very cool way to kind of colorize and emphasize this water-lit ocean temples atmosphere. Hello,
Yeah,
Necro.
I mean, if we talk color, I can already say I think this temple is underground, because it would make. I thought about the structure. It would show me if I looked at it from 3D, and I was like, nope, that doesn't make any sense. It has to be underground. So I would have liked. I mean, we're going to critique it. It is nothing bad. It is still a very, very fine map. But if I have to find a little bit to critique, I would say I'd like to see it a little bit cave-like, a little bit more like a feeling that you were underwater. So the surrounding could be a little bit darker, and also
So you're
the
basically
bellies could have
saying,
been a little bit pushed.
I mean, it's giving away that all the rooms are set to below ground, which kind of is the indication that this is a below a subsurface subterranean structure, and you would say that this texture that is used to colorize it, or to represent the underground, could have been something different here. I agree. I think the brown is the only color that's kind of in conflict with the rest. So if you would either decolorize it, desaturate it, that's too much now apparently. So you could either desaturate it, or you could go with something more rocky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like this, for example.
I would also go a little bit darker to emphasize the light sources still, and give a little bit more a deeper feeling to it. Yeah.
Okay.
To really emphasize that it's below the waves and below the ocean.
That's already at 400. Let's see what happens if I put that to 600. Okay, doesn't like it. So you took the whole thing and kind of tried to narrate and story explain this through some artworks that you've created for that. Should I switch to them right now?
Yeah, if you like. I mean, I did a few sketches just to get the things out of my head. So just the little journey to the ocean temple. And I thought about like 3 key moments when you approach the temple. And so the big spiral staircase, I thought, would be a tower watching over the sea. I did a little trident up above to just see the ocean temple. And when you pass this guardian statue on the cliffs, then you look upon and you see just the solemn tower of the ocean temple, which then leads you down into the cliffs and down the spiral staircase.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, please.
You said you're a game master and you're playing for 15 years. If I would be a player of you, would you then always give me such amazing visuals while we play? Like, is that something that you prep for your games?
Yes, I prep these kind of stuff for my game. Yes, only I mean if I have time, but mostly I do time for this, and yeah, I.
Oh wow! Okay, so if you ever have a chance, find a storyboard artist as your game master, because that would be like. And no, my dear players, don't get any ideas. Okay, sorry. Coming back to here, which means I think that already gives a lot of context, and I think it fits very much. I would love to hear what Calamity thinks about that. The general idea of how could you approach the temple with the lighthouse or the tower here, and then basically knowing that the whole cliffside here is where you go down into the Ocean God's temple. So the next one you did was then. The
next one was the idea of the atrium when you come down, and I mean in my head I stretched the whole thing out a lot, because I thought like temples and everything is like is the idea of walking towards a god, So I don't. I stretched it a lot to give this feeling of walking towards something.
Okay.
And
so creating
yeah,
more distance, kind of.
creating more distance for a pilgrimage kind of idea. And then I did the plaque on the floor a little bit smaller. I mean, it would be cool in a movie kind of point of view, but as a map, it's totally fine how Calamity did it, so that the players can read it in the map. And then I thought of, as I said, I thought it would be really cool to dive through to the main ground, and I did a little guardian statue, because every temple has these kind of guardian statues. In Christianity, it's they are the saints and everything which guard over the tower, and in Buddhism you have this. In Hinduism you have these statues which are also guarding the entrance. So you would dive through and purify yourself before you under the guardian.
Okay. So that is, if I just draw the comparison, that is basically the warrior standing here and is looking. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Necro just says, "Damn, that looks amazing."
Thank you.
Yeah, but so does the map do, because I think, again, this was kind of the inspiration. The inspiration for you, and now we're trying to interpret how this whole thing can be put together. The warrior standing here, this is the plaque that he's reading, and here you would then put this statue, which means that in your kind of interpretation, you could or you should dive through that pool to purify yourself. So that could technically mean that those doors are hidden. So they are kind of secret entrances, because probably if you're a priest, or if you're someone working in the temple, you don't really want to dive through here all the time. But if you're coming to seek the god's blessing, then you need to purify yourself. This could be.
I mean, I drew them in the shadows, so they're still there. And I think, as you said, it's a great way for the priests and everything. So there's just the small things on the ground. I have other carpets. So as I said, it's I think it's still cool to have these kind of other ways, and because, as you said, not everybody who comes is a pilgrim.
True, and also I think what we always should keep in mind is that you never know what your players are interpreting. Like, I would definitely go for the players saying, "Oh, we need to dive in here. It's important that we need to dive in here because it says we need to get purified and cleansing, and so this is the way to go." I would be like, "Yes, exactly. This is exactly the way to go." And if they are deciding to take the left or right corners to investigate, and they find stairs down, I think they should at least purify themselves here, or they might face some troubles in the next layer, because there should be something that is protecting it from unpurified people.
Yeah, I mean, the imagination can go wild, because if you dive through the thing unwashed, maybe there is a water current pulling you down or something when you're not prepared to go there or something.
So you basically, if you're not cleansed, so the best way to go would do a pre-wash here and then go in, because otherwise you will go into the full washing program until you're clean. Okay.
Yes. That's just the idea, or something attacks you because you're not pure, or something like this. I don't know if this is a battle encounter or a riddle encounter, or whatever he has planned. I think it could act for.
I think it plays quite nicely to the general 5-room concept that I personally like, which says the entrance needs a guardian, and what you did would put this guardian statue in there. But the riddle part is where the people need to interpret what the plaque says and how can you react to that. And then you continue forward, because again, story-wise, we do not really know why the players are here in the first place. Do they need to defeat that god? Do they need to pray to that god? There you go. We're getting answers. The water turns solid when an unclean touches it. Nice one. It kind of freezes. So
which is not bad, because normally Jesus would walk on water, so it would be holy to walk on water, but you're not allowed in the water. You're not holy enough.
Well, I think it's quite a challenge if you think of someone putting his or her hand into the water, and it suddenly freezes, and you're like, I'm stuck. And yeah, like the idea. Nice one. Roger B suggested that. So your last shot was then basically approaching the inner sanctum.
Yeah, so again, I stretched it out a lot because I thought of the ships that churches have, and if it is a subterranean, structure, something has to hold the which is also a minor complaint
Columns, you mean,
but,
like the ceiling,
like columns and the ribs that form the ship of the church, and so everybody who uses DungeonFog knows I love Gothic architecture, because DungeonFog is full of it. And yeah, so
Necronate just says maybe it's a test only when someone goes into the water. Does it either freeze or maybe lifts them up to walk across? Yeah, possibly. So the good thing about top-down imagination or imaging is that no one says that this isn't a giant tunnel that you can kind of pass if you walk on the water. So it could be what you just suggested, where it is instead of being just a purification basin where you could possibly dive through, it could be something like a big hallway or a tunnel that kind of opens and the water becomes solid, so you can walk on the water if you are pure enough to enter. So yeah, as you can see, great ideas tonight.
Yeah, that's the cool thing when you look at maps and you actually think about being in the place. And I think this is very cool for not just for GMs to say, here's the map and stop talking, but because just use the map as a tool to describe what the players are seeing when they're standing there. Because the feeling could be quite different when standing in this big hall where everything is lit from underneath. There are no windows which are lighting from above. Everything has this gloomy light from down below, and this bluish gaze. It's like being underwater. That's what the really cool thing about it is.
Yeah, I think what is... So now I have a critique for you, Tony.
Oh yeah, please.
Because I think one of the strongest things of this map was the love and time put into creating those amazing little kind of water walkways, the decorational part. And yes, I know, Forecaster, I have pronounced basin wrong again, and to be honest, I forgot how to pronounce it properly.
Basin, I think.
We don't know. We are Germans. We can pronounce.
You can
stuff like we think it sounds.
But I think it's basin. I mean, Darkroot Basin. I just know it from Dark Souls. So.
Okay. You are right. Tony wins.
Yay.
Yes. Well, okay. So the basin. Sorry, I just had to pour myself a little drink here. So, Tony, why didn't you catch this amazing?
I mean, I tried to catch it, but it was just from my point
here,
of view.
Like there's a little.
Away. I just insinuated it. I thought, like, should I use a more top-down perspective to show it? But sometimes I can help myself, and I thought, like, no, you have to show the ocean god from down below so that he is really big and mighty. And if I have put up the camera higher above, then Ocean Gate statue wouldn't look
By the
as
way, I must say I'm
impressive.
pretty
And
impressed that you kind of suppressed your all the drive that might have been in you, because I know you're a big Tulu fan. That your
yeah,
ocean god is not the old one.
yeah. I mean, I thought about changing the statue, but then I thought like
You stay true
yeah.
to the original map. I know.
Yeah, I stayed true to the asset I drew, and which I thought like, hey, maybe we should do a statue pack where we just do every Greek god a statue. So the god of war, the god of hunt, the god of the oceans, and everything. So we have every god, every aspect of the statue covered one time.
Yeah.
Because I
So
think he just used this for.
Necro says that you're still pushing ideas towards how you can enter this, and I really think the way that the whole map is structured is actually playing to some idea of a ceremony or a ritual or a test or a puzzle that the player has or the players have to do to prove them worthy. So there were now many ideas circulating around, and I think all of them are easily applicable to what the map is. And this kind of is one of the reasons why we all love this map so much, because it just sparked our imagination of saying, ooh, what's happening here? How would you play on this map? I remember the guy was very, very on fire for this map because of the kind of structural ways of approaching this temple in the first place, and the kind of, the white sheet for storytelling that it gives you, the green card for you can do a lot of storytelling here. I was really impressed by the by those things. My only suggestion would have been to possibly do them as shapes, not as rooms, but that's totally fine. Generally speaking, coming back to what Necro also just said, was that might be just a shape-shifted
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of cultists in Cthulhu, so
if
no
we look
problem with that.
really close, we could imagine
Hey,
that there is
don't look too
one
close, I didn't draw
tentacle
that.
still hanging down from his face.
You see my shoddy drawing there, so just zoom out again.
Don't be. This is amazing. Also, the way that you caught the concept of this glowing water. Like, you've caught it here, but I think, again, on this map, it is really nicely done to have the glowing fountains here that are kind of emanating light and are casting this light over the whole temple. However, I think when it comes to lighting, so there were two critiques I remember that we discussed. The one was it has still a very generic look because there are no brushes used here. I think you could very easily improve the way that this temple looks if you would add some brushes here to spice up the floor texture a little bit. And the second one is that it might be a little bit overlighted. Don't you think? Like, there's a little bit too much light.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I would have seen a lot. I would have liked to see a little bit more contrast between the dark and
but I think it is
places, so.
purely because if you reduce the room lighting, like the ambient light, you have the ambient lighting. Oh, you're currently in front of the setting, so people do not really see what I'm doing here. But if you reduce the light by, let's put it down to 75, the stage is not really relevant because the stage is just the dark here. That already gives more glow and more atmospheric feeling to the map. And then for someone who is from the movie environment, as you are, we now have those map color options. So let's see if we can do something with color grading filters here. That's too much. What about something like this?
That's not bad. That looks like underwater.
Yes, we could.
I mean, you don't
just
wanna
reduce it a little
reduce
bit.
it a little bit, yeah, because we're not
And
actually underwater. We just have the feeling of it, yeah.
Play a little bit around with the contrast.
Maybe I can shortly talk about what my biggest problem with the map was as a whole. I mean, I'm totally with you that you could do, or as Nate said, that something could be growing there. But I also thought about barnacles on the chests or something like it, so that the chest would be dragged from, dragged out from the water. But I thought, like, as I said before, the map should have been a little bit longer, because when you look at the benches, if pilgrims sit at the benches, they actually look to the side of the ocean god. They don't gaze at the ocean god, they gaze at the wall. So I thought the center of the sanctuary should be more in front of everything, and it should be streamlined a little bit like a normal temple would, or church would.
Okay. So basically you're saying, how could you, okay, I got your feedback that you said you wanted it a little bit more stretched out because of the ship character or the ship body character of a church regularly or usually in real world architecture.
Yeah, of course.
But the benches, what was your point about the benches? They're just looking straight.
If you sit on the benches, you don't look at the ocean god, you look at the wall.
Yeah, well, those are the cheap places, right? Those are for the people who come to me.
Yeah, as I said, it's still totally fine.
But I think what you're basically suggesting would be to kind of let me just quickly turn off the lighting here. Then everything will work much faster.
So now you made it green. Just for me, okay? Yeah.
Just for you, luckily.
Okay. Yeah, it would be some kind of these new age churches then, where you sit in a half circle.
So that could be one solution to kind of.
Yeah, would be already cooler in my opinion, because it's more directed towards the center of worship.
Okay. Okay, let's leave it like that. It's still, my OCD is kicking in. I have to align them properly now, which will take another half an hour. Okay, let's just pay attention to this side, and let's just see if we can improve the left side a little bit.
Yeah, so Forecaster said sermons tend to be more about listening though. And
that's true.
That's somewhat true if you go before the Second Vatican Council. I don't know if it's called in English the same as in German, but it's Zweite Vatikanische Konzil, where the priests were praying towards the altar and not towards the crowd, and they were turning their back to the crowd, so everybody was staring at the cross. That's just my Christian upbringing, and in other as I said, it's my subjectual.
I still think, however, I still think it is for worshipping or for the way that the temple is structured. I think both is absolutely fine. Like if you want to have the straight rows, that's perfectly fine. I would prefer this too. This would be probably my preferred way to create that, because it looks more organic. But we're really nitpicking here at details. We're just kind of changing it up a little bit. So let me see if I can play around with textures a little bit here. Let's get away the lighting. So Decorated stone tiles. How about those? Let's see if we can mix it up a little bit. It's always difficult because you kind of, I think that works quite nicely.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Because it kind of, it very neatly plays with the subtexture.
Mm-hmm.
So I could now go in and create those little details and areas here to spice up the floor a little bit. And now all we need to do is see when the opacity is. It's getting a little muddy, like dirty. I think we should change
Yeah,
the...
you can go a little bit away with the opacity. I think that's one of the cool things about the map is we see a lot of ruins always, which is the thing about D&D that we always go to dungeons. But this was actually an intact temple, and which is also nice to see. And I think even a little bit harder to make very interesting and intact structure because ruins are not easy to make. Just throw a little bit of rocks everywhere and it looks cool.
Sorry, my
know
dog
I mean?
is scratching at the door. I have to let him in. Come.
Another special guest.
Another special guest here. Well, he's kind of a regular.
Yeah, you're right.
So right. So we were. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, you got me. I said that the dungeons are often easier to fill room with without thinking about what you actually do there, because it's just if you have a corner which is cleared where nothing is, just throw a few rocks in there and you're set. No? But if you have a functional structure, you have to think about what each room does, and this is actually quite hard sometimes.
True. It's like Necro just said, how to make ruins. Make a stone box, add rocks to the stone box, ta-da, you have a ruined house.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
Yes, yes. Yeah, the second you have a functioning structure, you need to kind of visualize that. And I think the way everything here kind of tells the story, which is really amazing. So bringing back the light.
Which I find really cool is also the two doors leading in behind the sanctuary, so behind the statue, which would be some kind of where the priest enters. Because again, if you draw the connection to a Christian church, the priest is entering from a door next to the altar, because he's closest to the god.
So my question would then be, if the players take this entrance, what happens if they touch one of the like water currents or little rivers that are here? Is that something that you should not cross? Is that something where you should kind of move around?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I mean, with underground water temple, it's always a cool thing about thinking about flooding the place, and the player has to get out in time. Because, hey, it's an underwater temple, and there are a few waterfalls in it. Why not make it more water? And
Ooh, filling it up the second you make a mistake.
The classic submarine adventure, where somebody has to go over there to turn off the water.
I somehow feel, I don't know where. Let me see. Let me find where the light sources are actually. Many unnamed rooms.
That's nice. Every time the player players make a mistake, it floods a little bit.
Yeah. Nice.
it's
Yeah.
just not
So
neat
it kind
again.
of, whenever you make a mistake, the water rises a little bit until you're like, oh no. Don't open the window. We're underwater. So I was looking for light sources because I feel like here must be somewhere or are just those things emanating light. Oh, they are. Okay. Let me see what happens if I turn off. This will take a minute. If I turn them off, because they're kind of amplifying each other. And then we place one global light source.
I mean, if you're not too distracted, but I thought about that it's actually pretty smart to don't show what's underneath the little the stairways in the front and in the back, because if there are regions where there's actually no combat or no riddles, just story encounters, why spend time creating them in the map tool? Just concentrate on what is important: the riddle parts and the combat parts. So I mean, I think you talked about it once, to say you have to build just very nice the things where you actually play and not the things you just stroll over. So maybe that was the idea, that they didn't show what is underneath.
Yeah, or again, or they are just in terms of, because this is a map that has 2 levels, this also could be that they are just directly connected. So the stairs down is just a long flight of stairs and there you come out. So why show the long flight of stairs? Okay, I'm just
of course
playing around with
just
that.
wanted to do it more a little bit more yeah, no.
My computer is still calculating. I should have restarted. When we had the early chat, the pre-stream chat, I already complained that I have quite a slow PC today, and I said I don't want to restart because then I will lose my stuff. And now I kind of regret that I haven't restarted my PC. Okay, so here what we're seeing is I kind of switched to, instead of having all those as single light sources, I switched to one global light source here, and I'm going to move it a little bit closer to the statue, because I think that will be the cool thing, right? Being the statue being backlit.
Yeah.
And we're going to count squares in a minute.
Do the can you cast a shadow from the benches that they
I
like
can.
with
However, that's a trick I'm trying to do at the moment. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to make, because I think this. Well, that's not really cool. I think leaving it at 100 should be fine. Maybe I can. Pull you back a little bit, and now if we want to have the benches casting shadows, we at least have to increase the range. So let's make this 25 and let's see what happens. It's going to render while we're talking. What's the chat saying? I do think the boost creativity with the maps is a curvature line where you select an object, say a bench, draw a line, and on that line set a number. Oh, You will be very pleased to hear that this is almost already in the making, because the next thing after Andy has finished the GM tools, the new GM nodes, we're going to work on the paths and walls tool, which is exactly that. So there's going to be a way where you can kind of draw a line and it will create things along that line, ideally even bake them into one thing. So yeah, coming. So now they need to cast shadows, and those shadows should be shorter. By the way, if you're wondering why Tony's face becomes so green, that's because if my RAM is low, then Zoom is having a little graphic glitch where Tony is currently seeing me as the Hulk. Not anymore if I see the wreck. I'm back now, right?
No, you're still green. I just minimized the image. So,
You just okay.
I did it a little bit smaller, so I don't look like the Hulk in stream. But I got actually no problem with that. But yeah.
Hulk smash.
Yeah, Hulk building a few ruins.
Okay, there you go. I think the altar should cast a shadow as well, and
I mean,
they should.
It's also a little bit of thing when I think about it, because there are two altars. I know I've drawn them as altars. I don't know if he uses them as that, but
Well,
I think it would be cool to walk a few steps upward to them. So if it's just on a little pedestal, the both altars, or the chest on a little pedestal, it would break up the floor even more. I think just the monotony of tiles.
Let's put you up here. And I will, for the sake of flickering, I will turn my lightings off again. So how would you do this? Probably something like a round one or a square one.
I don't know what you're the map maker.
Okay.
But yeah, of course you can do a round one.
Now let's do something.
I mean, I thought about maybe something. Yeah, you can do. I even thought about just little pedestals under the.
Yeah, we could do something like
big one. Yeah.
It's not snapping to where I want it to snap. Okay.
And yeah, Nate, I'm not a follower of the Yellow King. I'm a follower of the Green King, apparently.
Oh no! What did I do? I wanted to do this. Snap. Okay, let's do it like this. This should be this floor texture. There you go. And now we can shift it a little bit, send it to the back. Make it a little bit smaller. Okay, now the texture here needs to be sent to the back again. Okay.
Because I think the room is so big that if you do a little bit of these nice little details, I think the room looks even bigger if you have these small stairs, and so you get a sense for the scale.
Okay, something like this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I looked at the stream, so I was a little bit behind.
I think.
Yeah, I like it more. I think it's cool to have this a little bit of separate.
I think if we would play around more with it, we could move those benches a little bit back and kind of make the whole pool elevated a little bit.
Ooh, yeah, that would be nice.
I feel like what we're doing right now, this is quite okay. Jip, 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 jip. There you go. Putting them in a folder, because now I can duplicate the folder and put it here. Send it to the back. Send it at least in front of the texture. And now it's just playing around with alignment. And now let's see what happens if I do the same thing here.
Could be nice. I mean, now I'm thinking about, yeah. Now I'm thinking about just mirroring the edge of the. I'm sorry, I'm an artist. I draw stuff, then erase it, and then draw it again. It's our whole process. The concept artist stuff. So because it's the edge, the upper edge of the pool. If you duplicate that and push it up, you would have also if you mirror that, you would have also a cool pedestal which just emphasizes the.
You mean this one?
No, I mean the pool, the edges. Yeah, the upper edges. If you don't make it round, the pedestals you just did, but like angular.
Oh, you mean if it would just follow the line
exactly,
like that? Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
If you mirrored it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was what I was saying. Is
because it is actually a very angular design, and with all the angular rooms he built down there for the water which is flowing through. Well, so I thought, like, when I now saw it, it was like the round thing. I don't know. The idea is cool.
Well, what we could do is we could try to make this like, let's make it 10 as well. However, the outer wall texture should be, where do I have there? Something like this, like just generally speaking, having the pool raised a little bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, no, I don't want to sit there and try to
yeah, that's what I meant. I wouldn't do it. I would do it, but I honestly get why you don't want to do it. I find the idea of it cool, but I think it's the cool thing that the water is on feet level everywhere when I now think about it, because everything is at feet level here. The little
yeah, I agree.
The angular shapes and everything. So I would stay with that concept. I still like the round stuff in the little pedestals where the altars is now. Altars are now on top of. But if we had the time, I think we would both make them angular.
Yeah, probably, because they kind of, it looks a little bit like a grinning frog now. The more I look at it.
Yeah, I thought like a Mickey Mouse looking over a fence, but
just the ears, right? No,
yeah,
it's
just
like
the ears, and there's the nose. Is looking in between two fence posts.
It's the most happiest frog I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, now I see it too. But yeah, if it would end because everything else is angular in the map, I thought like it should be too.
Yeah, so that's the big trick when you try to dish out the details, is you can get lost. You can get just lost in the details
every time, and that's the good thing and the bad thing about DungeonFog. In artwork, you always say like you fake it, just draw fog over it and blend it into the background, and people's brains will finish it. for you. And with DungeonFog, it's always like really exact.
I know what you're saying. The OCD kicking in with, I think, especially this. Oh, sorry, this one here. Yeah. Let's not go down that road,
We
because
don't want to
otherwise
build
I
a
will
new
be...
map. We just want to talk about it, actually.
So that one just needs alpha 0, and now let's bring back the light, and let's see how it looks. Let's just review how it looks. Oh, the one bench here still needs adjustment.
And then the Hulk again. Oh.
Hulk.
Okay, now we're getting carried away. With all the edges.
So honestly, I think we need to get rid of those. Not because I think pedestals aren't a great idea, but because those pedestals are not a great idea.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It looks too much like a frog. I cannot see it now.
Yeah, also the shadow was now not working quite good anymore. So let's just render that for a second. Right. Is there anything else that we
I mean, we just spent time on the sanctuary. Maybe we look at the atrium for a second. If you want to
look at what? Where? Sorry?
The atrium, the entrance.
The entrance.
I dubbed it the atrium. I don't know if it's actually called that or...
Yeah, I would love to, but currently I'm still...
You're rendering.
I'm still rendering. Let me just see if I can... Why do I...
Sorry.
Yeah, no, there's not much I can close to free some resources here. Let me close this one at least. Maybe it helps a little.
I mean, but you did beautiful lighting. It fried your PC, but you did beautiful lighting.
Well, to be honest, I've been working on a quite heavy map beforehand, and also for some reason my Photoshop decided to give up. And for those who know, who are watching my Tuesday stream, I haven't shut down my PC for a week now almost, because I have one thing that Andy and I have been working on, and I didn't want to lose it, so I never turned the PC down. I just went into sleep
Okay, maybe
mode.
that explains it. So it's yeah, it's that thing.
Right. So let's look at the atrium. Probably zoom in if I'm allowed to do. By the way, this. Just by reducing the room light to 75%, I feel like also did a lot to the look and feel up here. So for you guys, if you're working with lighting, just make sure that you reduce the level of lighting for your ambient sliders a little bit, because that instantly does good stuff to your map.
Especially when you build a subterranean map.
Yeah, don't go overboard. Like, this is not going to help anyone. But this is just it's a little bit too much. And when you go down to somewhere like I was at 75% previously, I think that's quite cool. Also, if that text would not be map decoration, then it's gone, of course, because that one is map decoration. No, it's not. But it's above walls. There you go.
That's maybe a little thing which you can tell me if it works here, but I think it should work. But when I do text on stone or something like this, I just use a darker gray than the above gray, and then the outlines in a little bit of more.
Okay, so what you're saying is you don't use white for that, but you use what you're trying to do is you're trying to indent it, right? So you're going with
to indent it. That
so
would be
going with a very dark
easy trick
gray,
to make it a lot bit cooler.
but you're adding a border to it, and the border should be a lighter gray, and apparently
so
not 10
it
pixels,
pops a
but
little bit.
4 pixels, for example, or even less, 2 pixels, and I think it needs to be even a tad bit darker. Now you can't read it anymore at all. Like if you're, I think your play, it might be realistic, but if you, let's see how it looks at 100%, because that is how the players would see the map, is they would see it at 100% zooming. Oh, there's a raid. Hi, Inky. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys from Well Anvil.
Hello.
Yeah, I think it works. It does work. It would be something that looks much more like it's engraved there. However, it would require a handout to the players.
Of course.
Oh my god, I can't read what's on the map here. Also,
just a quick read through, but I think it's a cool little tip where you can which works actually with every surface where you can engrave something in it.
I think grid is 1, 2. I think this can be even 2 squares. And last but not least, okay, and now let's wait for the light rendering. What are we making? Hi, Great GM. Hi. Nice to have you here.
Hello,
well,
guy.
we're looking, Tony and I are reviewing the Ocean Gods Temple here, and we're just discussing how we could improve the map, what we would do differently, what we could change here. So this is where we're currently at, and we're also kind of killing my PC at the moment, because I think I did a change to the lighting, but it decided to not render it anymore.
I mean, in the meantime, we could, if we're being rated right now, we could show a guy and the other guys what we thought would the map would look like from outside or something.
Right. The window that I've just closed to free memory.
I just thought maybe that gives you a PC time otherwise, but yeah.
Yeah, let's just, we can do that. Let me just quickly go back to here, because while we're doing that, I can open the window. And we're bringing back in, because Tony was so amazing that he was so inspired by the whole thing that he started to do some artwork for the Ocean Gods Temple. And I'm loading it up right now. So we're going back to screen share, this one. So this is what kind of narrates the entrance to the Ocean Gods Temple. This is kind of the atmospheric view of the cliff side and the little tower or lighthouse that is leading to the stairs. When you go down the stairs, you come down to where the plaque is that we were currently working on where you can see the plaque here at the floor. And then you have this guardian statue and the pool, the purification pool, that asks you to purify yourself. And then you finally are in the inner sanctum, where you have the big statue of the ocean god lit from below with the glowing pools of water, and the glowing pools of water to the side that are also kind of illuminating the crypt below. So that was what you did as bonus homework, to kind of get into the mood for the Ocean God Temple review. And it's quite amazing. I think this is definitely my favorite. This is, well, although it's hard to pick, because I like this one this one is perfect to set the scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's the coolest because it shows what the map doesn't show, and the other one is just the
yeah,
maps
it's
on
just
steroids. So
yeah, just camera angle. Okay, let's see if it has rendered. Well, it has, but it has ignored my light here. No, I think it still hasn't fully, because those light sources aren't.
I mean, it did what you wanted, didn't it? So I mean, the
Yeah, I was
the
just adding.
effect
I was
is
adding an
really cool.
additional light source here to
Yeah,
give
I
the.
know. I saw, and it looked really cool. So thank you guys. Yeah, I talked to Till about it, and we said, yeah, let's do a little bit of storyboard action for today.
Yeah, it is, and for those of you who joined later, my personal recommendation is find a storyboard artist who GMs for you, because then you will get all those amazing artworks whenever you play with him, because that's what Tony is doing when he's playing for his with his players, and I'm jealous. I'm terribly jealous. Yeah. Okay. I think we've reached the end of what we can do today, because we've reached the end of what my PC can do today. And I promise next time I will reboot my PC before we do anything else. In regards to this, are there any last? Look at that. That's the light is coming in, and it already looks amazing. I wish that light source here would do the same thing for me. Is there any last remarks from you, Tony, before we switch to and we throw a look at the other map that I'm prepping?
I'm just answering the question from Inky Design. So yes, I am a storyboard artist for Austrian cinema and TV, and I am with DungeonFog from the beginning, and I've drawn like almost every DungeonFog asset which is available at the time. So I think the only thing I didn't draw were the animal pack and the overworld items. These are the 2 packs I didn't do, and otherwise I did everything. And yeah, hello.
Yeah, and you're going to do much more. We've already teased about the Bounty Hunter TTRPG map pack that is coming this month, so stay tuned. Sci-fi incoming. Okay, so this was the Ocean God's Temple. The Ocean God's Temple map won the Bronze Award on the Masters of the Tool contest. Calamity was the artist behind that. If you want to check it out for yourself and try to play around with it, you can find it on the DungeonFog website in the news section of Masters of the Tools winners. There you can find the map, clone it into your account, and play around with it. Congratulations again. I think Calamity did an amazing job on this map, and it was really, as Nikro just said beforehand on the chat, it was merely nitpicking at the details to improve it. So it's a lovely map, it's a lovely concept, and I think it gives a GM a great tool to come up with your own stories, as Tony did with his artwork, as we in the chat did with thinking of puzzles, riddles, tests. So yeah, this was this part, and now I would just like to hear your professional feedback on something that I'm currently doing, because we're doing something together with Real Terrain Hobbies. I think it's going to be released next week, so keep an eye out for the video on Real Terrain Hobbies, where they said they're going to build. Real Terrain Hobbies is building, like, how do you call it? Terrains and dioramas physically. So they're physically building those stuff. And they are currently building a Hobbit town. And I said, well, that's amazing. What kind of Hobbit town are you doing? And they said, well, very close to what the Lord of the Rings was showing, but it's only the exterior. It's the terrain of that Hobbit town, and we said, well, that wouldn't it be cool if we would do an interior from DungeonFog? So I'm currently finishing this up, and I just wanted to show it. I hope it's loading. I sincerely hope that my PC can still keep this. Otherwise, I've exported the image at least. So this is what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm spicing it up. And it's good to have an artist here who can come back and give me the details for the final touch. Okay, let's give it some time.
We just need
to
vote. Hobbit is cool. So Hobbit is actually my spirit animal, I believe. So
it is.
Eating, sleeping, and smoking and drinking. So I think that's the day of a Hobbit, isn't it?
You're a little bit. I mean, I know you in person. You're a little bit too tall for being a Hobbit.
That's true. That's why I said I'm not a Hobbit, but it's my spirit animal. So. So yeah, and okay. Thank you, Inky and Nate. I'm glad you enjoy the assets and everything.
So this is Beck's End. I actually found. I mean, who's really surprised by it? But there are blueprints of Beck's End out there that you can use as a source of inspiration. So I used this to create this amazing little, hopefully amazing little Hobbit cave. Let me go out just a little bit more. And
ooh, you used my new grass texture.
Yes, I did. Cool. I did. I mixed quite some stuff. I hope you forgive me. I've mixed some of the Keora Darklord assets with your stuff.
Keora is a cool dude and his assets are cool, so everything good.
So this is apparently there's a hill, there's an entrance, and in the hill you have the Hobbit cave. And I was quite impressed when I looked at the blueprint from the original kind of movie or book series. I don't know where the blueprint actually came from. I was just Googling for Hobbit Den blueprints, and I found this one, and I was like, yeah, looks cool. How big that is. I kind of always pictured Hobbit homes a little bit smaller. But the more time I spent on it, the more I realized, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense that you have a big kitchen and at least 1 or 2 dining rooms, and you have a huge pantry with storage and cellars and cooling cellars and stuff like that, and you have a specific smoking room that you can go to and smoke your pipe. So I was actually trying to incorporate several things in this map, which was giving each room the specific flair, the representation of what that room is, without overfilling it, because I wanted to have the that's a Google font that we've implemented in DungeonFog, is the Hobbit. I don't know how it's called. Hobbiton brush hand. And I wanted to incorporate that, so I needed to leave some space for the text. So we have the entrance hall leading to the east hall, and here I think I did exactly what you said on the previous map. I tried to spice it up with kind of with elevation details where you have floors or stairs leading down, leading up. So this is what I was trying to do. And now we can go like entrance hall, east hall, atrium, west hall, and there's kind of a second exit. And then we have the guest room with the back room for the guests so that they can eat with a quick access to the storage. I think if you have other hobbits as a guest, they need quick access to their food.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
If I can say from thing, it's really cool because all of fantasy somehow starts with Tolkien, and in the idea of the Hobbit, there has to be a lot of resources on that, and so it's really cool. You can work into that. It was so nice, and it looks amazing. I have to say up front. And if you think about a wealthy hobbit like Bilbo, and Bag End is always described as a great house because the Sackheim Beutlings want to take it from him,
yeah.
And everything is like so. It is actually quite okay.
It's a wealthy one,
big.
yes. So it's the mansion equivalent of.
I think it looks small because the ceilings are so small. It is filmed that way that in the movie that you think it is small because it is so narrow, everything, and so for little people.
Here's the real question. Necro asks: are Hobbit homes built into hills, or is the dirt added on top of them? That's a good question. Well, Inky believes that they are burrowers. I think they are too. Like that, or at least that was always my imagination of them being someone who dig holes and then start to build all the comfort that they can do inside their burrowed holes. But architecturally speaking, from a modern perspective, it would be much easier to just build it and then pile a lot of dirt on top of it and plant some grass.
I mean, even in a lot of the rings, there are different in Hobbit design. So you have the hobbits in Bray and everything, which actually build houses on top, and only the wealthiest hobbits actually live in caves. And I think they actually burrow. They really dig underneath the mountain, the hills, so to speak. I think the really hard part about hobbits is that you have to fill it up with clutter till the brim.
Yeah, so that was exactly my problem, because if you look at the so when I started building that, the first thing I did was I was looking up scene images from the movies and artwork that people did on how it looks inside, on the interior. They are littered with stuff. They are filled under the ceiling with clutter. And my problem was that you don't really, if you want to do a player's map for that, do you really want to do that? Because it just gets filled and filled. And I'm not sure if I want to have that as a visual representation.
It depends on your style of map making, and I know you are a fan of the clean style.
I am a fan of the clean style, but I'm here to ask you, and I will take your feedback. So if you're saying that I should go and kind of, because that is for the entrance hall, for example, or the east hall or the west hall, I was thinking of creating book piles and like little things,
I mean,
statuettes, and.
You already done a really good job. I think it's the little things that would make it more lively, like maybe muddy footprints at the door or something like this, to really indicate also visually that people are walking in here. Do we have shoes? Actually,
I think we don't. Let me turn off the lights. That makes my life much easier.
because I was now thinking like we don't have any shoes to put anywhere, really.
No, we don't. We don't have boots. We don't have
Yeah,
shoes.
that's because that's, I mean, we have a rack for putting up your clothes, don't we?
We have something,
Yeah,
but it's
I know
in the modern
they
set.
wouldn't allow it. I mean, yeah, but it looks really cool, and it was indicate in a cool manner the entrance, because the feet are still dirty. And maybe he got visited by dwarves. They wouldn't.
That's why the carpet is here, because it cleans.
Yeah, you can
cleans
clean
the
your
feet.
feet there. Or
Maybe,
if he has,
you know
dwarven
what we
visitors.
could do? We could say that if you come in with muddy feet, you have something where you can wash your feet, which means there should be. There should be a chair. You know what hit me? You know what struck me quite the hardest was I just recently had a conversation again, I think with Guy, about the urge of criticizing maps if they do not have any toilets. And when I took the original blueprint and I traced it, I was like, oh no, there are no toilets anywhere. How does a hobbit do his business?
Go to the bathroom, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like probably there's an outhouse. I'm not sure. Do we know of if
I don't know. I think it
if
never
hobbits use
mentioned in the book.
outhouses, or do they have
I would
canal?
assume it, but if I remember correctly, that there is a part in the book, in the first one, where they bathe, and there they don't have a specific bathroom. They just fill a room with tubs and everything. So
Ooh.
at least they don't have a bathroom.
Necro means that in the Hobbit trilogy, there's a pooper chair that a dwarf cleans his boot on. Okay.
You're actually right. I think so.
Where would I put that, though? Not in the kitchen. Not in the parlor. Man, it's hard. Where would I put that? In the pantry? No. Smoking room? No. Well, maybe
far
here.
away from the eating areas.
Yeah, maybe we could expand that a little bit. I think we could easily create another room. The question is, where would I put that? I think it should be easily accessible from the center. No, you know what? It's going to be here.
Yeah,
we're going to add one here, because that's where you can kind of throw it out if it's filled. What I did, oh, that's not good. What I did was I tried to avoid the grid and used it purposefully without exact angles, because I felt like it's not a cave. Like if you look at the pictures, everything's decorated with wooden beams and wooden walls, but it kind of gives a more, at least for me, Hobbit-like feeling if you don't have 90-degree angles everywhere. Everything's a little bit weird and offset.
A little bit crooked. It's the thing. It's like homey. It's not that clean. maybe I was thinking a lot about it, and your green is really the type of green you used is really beautiful. But I was thinking like maybe you could use make the floor a little bit more saturated orangey brown, because that would fit more the feel of the movie. Because I think that's the kind of color grading they went for in the movie.
Okay, let me just quickly.
Just finish what you're doing. I was just thinking out loud.
We don't have one, have we?
Much
Have we ever
more
created?
important.
Have we ever created something like a?
You're ordering the assets, so I'm not responsible for that.
Okay, we will have to.
But no, we actually. I mean, we have a modern toilet. I know that. So
yeah, we can't put a modern toilet in here.
No, of course not. I just said we have a toilet.
I think we're going to. Sorry, Kiora, but we're going to use. No, we're not going to use a coffee table.
With a chest and a bucket, didn't you?
Yes. I was using a chest and a bucket before. But I'm going to use the small table because it looks quite nice. Okay, you, my friend, need to... Oh, I can't. Here. Drop shadow. And now we need the empty bucket. It was not a bucket. What was it? Empty...
Sorry, laughing about the chat and the pooper jokes. Yeah.
I can't remember. What was it called? Empty something. It was not a bucket. I didn't find it on a bucket.
Just draw a shape and make it black.
Barrel. It was an open barrel. Okay. No, I don't want to draw a shape.
We have enough items to not use shapes.
I need to lock this stuff.
And if you are a Hobbit, you have something to read on the toilet. I know it.
Yeah. Let's make it darker though, and give it at least some transparency. There you go. And you need to read something here. Okay, so we're going to take a book. Put it here. And I think you would like to have a door.
Preferably.
And because I love them so much, let's put some ink spot in here.
For the drunk hobbits with bad aim. Yeah, very good.
You were saying that. I wasn't. All right. Okay, so we have that. And now you were saying, but let's be careful about the coloring. Let me just quickly turn back on the light.
Of course, you don't have to mess with it.
It might be in conflict with the lighting that I already have.
I think it was just make it a little bit warmer, a little bit more inviting, because now it is a little bit cold.
I think we're going to use the parlor as a kind of as our sample, and once we're happy with that, we can then transcribe that to all the other rooms. So let's do that. I will hide all rooms now because then my speed is coming back. And I need to find the parlor, which is that one. Okay. There you go. So you would like to have the floor warmer.
Yeah, a little bit more of an earthy orange. Or a little bit more orange tinted.
Okay, I don't need the lighting tab at the moment. So, bringing up the saturation. That will make it already. Is it changing anything? Well, very slightly only. And now if I want it to be more orange, oh, that's the green. Sorry, I think I need to go into that direction. It's really hard to find the right slider.
Yeah, because it's also not much. It's just a little bit.
And also it's inverting. Ah, there you go. I think now I'm getting into the orange tones. That's purple. Let me just quickly colorize it, just to find
Yeah, just to
right
find the
order.
colors.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There
Very
it
nice.
is. Desaturate a little bit, I think.
Yeah, but I think that's the direction I wanted to go in.
Okay. And make it not that light, right?
Just try it a little bit darker, but I mean, I always have to look at the stream. I'm a little bit behind, so. I mean, I think I like it. Can we see before and after or the other rooms to it?
Yes, we can. Okay, so let's bring in the East Hall.
Guy is screaming, why isn't Till using the color filters?
I'm sorry, I have been using the color filters. It's already there. It's the Vibrance A. Color filter is already applied. If I would turn that off, it would be completely different. It would get more into this yellowish.
So bye, Guy.
Bye. East Hall. East Hall. East Hall. Where is it? I can't read it. Entrance, Sparrow, smoking room. Oh no. West Hall. East Hall. There you go. Let's bring that in. And now we can see the difference.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for this for the stream to load. I think I like it more, but you have to. It's your map, so I'm just giving you opinions.
Well, no. Let me bring.
I mean, your dark floor looks a little bit more rustic, and I think the more orange is a little bit more homey.
I think I can mix them. I think I can go for just my personal impression would be that it is a little bit too overcolorized. I think it would be. It's screaming. It's very much screaming in my face. Right now.
I like a lot of color. I know. Yeah.
Okay. I probably would go down a little bit with saturation to make it just a tad bit less saturated. But I think I can mix it so that, for example, hallways are not that colorful, whereas the living areas are colored.
Yeah, you could actually do that. That would you can also. I mean, I like when you see which paths are often walked over. So maybe you can. I mean, this is really, really nitpicking and really detail work. But I think Hobbit caves live from the detail work because they are cluttered so much and everything is so. Yeah.
But I think if I look at the chat, because I'm reading the chat while it's loading up, I think the majority is on your side and they all like the orange. So I will I will I will obey. And it's going to be the orange. I will. For those of you who know me, I will tune it down a little bit.
Yeah, just find a middle. I think it's crass if you do the whole map. You may be totally right. If you do everything, it's gonna scream a little bit, and it's always hard. I think which when I use DungeonFog for myself, I think I struggle a lot with to make it beautiful in the whole map and in the size the players see it. Because if you build the whole map zoomed out, then it's gonna feel empty when you're zoomed in where the players actually see it. And if you build it zoomed in the sight of the players, then it's gonna be cluttered when you zoom out. So that's a thing I personally struggle with still when I use DungeonFog.
Well, actually,
When you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but I
mean,
think
you do it
zooming
fine.
it out,
You're
it
the
works.
master, of course.
It works quite nicely. Let me just quickly let me see. Okay, I want this applied to here. Oh wait, I have to be careful because I can't just do that because I've rotated my room textures.
Then it's gonna rotate back. Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's fine for the stream now. We will do it. Just to have an impression. I can rotate it back later. That's totally fine.
But your PC is doing better now, at least.
It's doing much better if I A, turn off the lighting, and B, if I don't have all the rooms and all the lights rendered at once. But it's oh no, it's those were two rooms.
That's a question for you, Till. This is Nate asks. This is probably a stupid question.
How did you make the stairs look with this Hobbit home? Look like that. You mean those stairs here? Well, that's a pretty easy trick actually. Those are. Let me just quickly hide all lights because then I can zoom in. Those are 3 shapes that I did, and I just combined them. So as you can see, if I turn them off and off, this is basically just a shape that I've created. I took my shape brush, made it round, and said that it drops an outer shadow, and then I duplicated it and scaled it a little bit, duplicated and scaled it a little bit. That's all I did. Then I had those, and because undo. And because I moved them to the edge of the room where they are automatically cut off because they are leaving the room now, they start to look like that. And that's all I did. I think that's a very easy trick, and it was important for me to have this natural round feeling. For some reason, this is how I see hobbits, is everything is rounded and everything is circular, and if you look at the entrance, they have a round door entrance and they have round windows, which you don't see from top down. But I wanted to have this rounded feeling somehow baked into the map, and so I decided that I go mostly for rounded stairs. I'm not doing it every time and always, but in 90% I'm using round stairs, because I felt like this is how a Hobbit home would be built.
Yeah, and I think a very smart decision on your part also was to do the rounded walls and the always the kind of shapes in the walls that you have nearly no straight walls. You always have a little bit of an a thing coming out or moving into the wall, yeah, which gives it this Underhill feeling, which is another Hobbit name, Underhill.
Underhill.
I think. Yeah, Frodo uses it in Bray, I think. So when he goes to the Prancing Pony.
Okay, and because I'm picking the textures, something that you then need to do if you want to have some kind of visual representation of depth or height is you need to change the lowers to, I think, let's go down there to -60. Oh, that was too much. Nope.
Barrel Rider. That's a nice Hobbit name, but maybe a little bit too adventurous for Hobbits.
Let's darken the lowest stair a little bit. The lowest stair should be a little bit darker than the rest. If you want to really go down the route, you could do the middle stair even. Something like this. There you go. Now you have this this feeling. So I can get rid of that, and I take it and put it here. Okay. Let's bring back the light, at least for those rooms, and then we have a nice comparison. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it reminds me so much of the movie, just the feel of the orange.
Yeah. Sold. I'm sold on it. Now all I need to do is I need to go in and I find the right rotation, because that was, I think, 68. Nope, that was not 68. That was probably 40. 49, 46. 42.
And I think you said it already, but of course, what also sells the Hobbit style 100% is the text, the font.
Yes, of course.
It's a great font.
It is a great font, but it is like, it was really hard to picture how you could make this absolutely truly Hobbit style, and then I realized, well, having the font in there leaves no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've rotated that one. I think that one needs to be rotated like this. 22. Oh, it already is, so that's fine for me. What I also did was I was taking the textures of the upper and the second from the room that I'm exiting, and the lower one is taking the texture orientation from the room that it's leading into. So that it kind of blends nicely, because there is you can see that there is a problem sometimes with rotated textures to fit, like here, for example. You can see that those textures don't really blend nicely. I haven't really come up with a solution, because I don't want to do another rounded stair here. I will figure out how I can make that work.
You don't need a door here.
And I don't need a door to the dining room, exactly. So I will come up with something.
Yeah. I'm thinking the whole time about the. I know I'm fixated about colors, but I'm looking at the colors the whole time. So I'm thinking about the carpet in the parlor.
Yes,
because the violet is such a modern color, I think.
What would you like to see there?
I'm not sure, because all the other carpets are this brown greenish thing, and it's okay to have a little bit more lavish carpet in the parlor.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking when I put it in there. I was like, yeah. that's the bragging area.
It's just maybe a little bit more a natural color, not maybe just a little bit in the red. Violet is such an artificial color here, or the hue of the violet. So red would be nice.
Reddish.
Then
okay, that's
yellow is also okay if you go a little bit darker, and whatever you like.
Let me just find a nice red here.
Yeah, Nate is with me. Maybe a red.
There you go.
Yeah, nice. I think it makes it already more medieval.
Okie doke. Okay, cool. I will not spend
Do this for every.
Yes, I will not do this tonight while on stream, fixing
course,
all of that. So this time I will learn my lesson. What is the rotation here? Oh, it was 22 again. How nice. Okay. Okie doke. Which means the lowest one need to be this, but darker. That was 30. And that was 20. No, wait, not 20, 40. My apologies. 40, this was that. Rotation 355, well, interesting.
You will not do it, but you're doing it.
Yes, I'm sorry. That's terrible. That's terrible. I can't stop.
That's totally okay. I know how it is.
I just need. It's just okay. Okay. Just one thing. Then I'm done. I promise. I just need to do. Then I can sleep.
Very nice.
Because otherwise I will not be able to sleep.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
what was that?
You can.
30.
Nate with a "you shall not post" to the bot. Yeah, very good. We have a very Lord of the Rings stream now.
Yeah, people know their stuff.
Yeah. So I like the study. You made a very beautiful study. Maybe you have the head hanger there, don't you?
Yes, I have.
In the study.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you put this stuff also in the atrium, but I know I'm the clutter guy and you're the clean guy, but I would do a chest for shoes and for in the entrance hall and the head hanger and everything, so people when they come in can put off their coats and stuff. I meant to the front door.
I know you meant to the front door, but since I am here, I will do that. Okay, let me turn off the light. That makes my life much easier. So we're going to have one chest here and probably another one somewhere here. That's a little bigger one. So we can take the.
I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, but it is really famous, the scene when Gandalf enters the first time in the
bumps
Hobbit
his head on
movie.
the chandelier.
Yeah, didn't we have a chandelier?
Yes, we have. So we could.
Is it cool?
Chandelier.
I think it was a Victorian chandelier, and I think it was really old school and dark. But I don't know if it fits for the Hobbits.
Was it in directly in the entrance?
Yeah. He hits his head on the chandelier and then turns left to go into the study and then into the parlor and then hits his head on the.
Okay, so let's
in
put the
between
chandelier
stuff.
here. But as always, since that one is hanging from the top.
Yeah, Nate, I heard that too, that this was an accident and he really hit his head.
So we make it transparent a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, that's nice. The slight transparency.
Okay, guys, thank you. Tony, thank you for being here. Thank you for spending the evening with me. Thank you for reviewing the Ocean God's Temple and doing the amazing. I will make sure that Calamity will get your artworks. And if I'm allowed to, I will post them on the website or in the Discord channel.
Please do.
And thank you for the
However you
feedback.
like.
And I hope you had fun. I hope you all had fun in joining us in another Welcome to the Mapness session. Doing the general announcements, just quickly let me switch back to chat split screen. There you go. Okay.
So yeah, also from me, thank you for having me, and it was a lot of fun. And thanks for the chat for being so lively today.
Yeah,
And,
it was a lot of fun, guys. If you haven't checked out yet, well, Anvil has a new feature that allows you to spend your to earn some kind of in-system coins or currency that you can spend on voting new features. So if you haven't if you are using World Anvil and you haven't checked that out yet, make sure to check that out. There is now a community voting tool where you can vote for new features, and the more active you are in the community, the more points you can spend on voting new features. I think this is quite a clever idea, and I can highly recommend checking that out. Keora has updated the web design of his webpage and also released a new map pack and I think asset pack, and it's going to find its way to our new marketplace as well. So if you haven't seen, DungeonFog has launched the beta version of the marketplace, where you can find Forgotten Adventures assets, Keora assets, and game assets from Ardent Roleplay. So have a look at our marketplace. It's available for free users, it's available for premium users, and as a premium user you get a little discount on stuff. As a free user, you can now expand your DungeonFog system by purchasing new map slots, for example. So you're not limited to 3 map slots anymore. And last on my list of things to put out is, don't forget that on June the 5th, there will be a new Circle of the World Builders masterclass. It's going to be how to create a kick-ass campaign, aka how to not be boring. It's going to be a full day with several panels from Guy, How to Be a Great GM, from World Anvil, from DungeonFog, from Keora, and all of us together in one final panel where we discuss all those things, and we hand out a little homework and we hand out tips and tricks. So if you want to stay updated, go to circleofworldbuilders.com and sign up for the newsletter. That will help us immensely to send you the material that we are prepping for this workshop. It's going to be June the 5th, and keep an eye out for that, or sign up to the newsletter, then you will be notified. I think that's it from news. We are going to see each other next week, Tuesday, when I'm back in our weekly community stream, and we will hopefully see progress on the Game Master's notes tool, the GM notes, and we will see. I will give you updates of everything that is coming up or is happening. Tony, you and I, we will see each other in 2 days on Saturday evening.
Yes.
when we will have our review call with Corthel about the amazing pack that we still not spoiler at all. No. Thank you for having me. Look, I'm not a guest today.
You're
thank
the
you
host.
for being here. Thank you for being here. Everyone, have a good day, have a good evening, have a good morning, whatever it is where you are at the moment. See you all soon, and as always, happy map making. Bye.
Bye.